Greetings, my woodland friends of YouTube. I will be your host, Nosejob, and I would just like to say that I am no longer mainlining acid or smoking PCP. Alright, so, first of all, I'd like to say if you just want a walkthrough on where to place blocks to build a door, trap, farm, whatever, this is not the series for you. Basically, this is for people that actually legitimately want to learn how redstone works and why it works. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, and also I would like to mention that this is exclusively for the Xbox version. I'm going to explain why the things people have copied from tutorials on the PC version, why a lot of times they do not work. Anymore, it's not as big of a deal since we're more up to date, but with PC version's newest update coming along, there are going to be some pretty major differences. Okay, well, I'm just going to get into this as if you are completely new to this. You do not even know what redstone is, you don't know a thing about it, what the items do, any of that. So I'm just going to assume you have absolutely no knowledge about it to begin with. If you do, you may want to skip to the next video, but I don't know, hang around for a little bit, you might still learn something new. Okay, sources of power. So first of all, we have the lever, and when it's on, whatever you're outputting to stays on. And dust, by the way, dust, it's it's kind of like Redstone's version of electronic wiring, but not really. Don't think of this as electricity first of all, because it's not. It's pretty much magic. Okay, well, you'll see if you place one tile down, it's just a dot of dust. But if you place dust around it, it automatically connects. And you can use this to link them together and transmit a signal over an arbitrary distance. And also, oh, this is something I forgot to add. Redstone dust will only transmit a signal up to 15 meters or blocks, tiles, whatever. And at that point, you need some way to continue the signal. And they added repeaters, which is really handy for this because it will take that signal and transmit it, but we're going to talk a little bit more about repeaters and such later. Okay, so that's how a lever works. When it's on, it's on. And also this right here, this block, does not count as part of those 15 meters. See, this is a source of hard power. I'll talk more about that later, but it's actually pushing the signal from this lever through the block, so this is the point of activation. 15 blocks from this point, then you have to continue it. Alright, now we have a button, and what a button does is it sends a pulse, a 10 tick pulse actually, which is exactly 1 second. Alright, how ticks work, each tick is 1/10 of a second, and for every for every 2 game ticks, we won't really be getting into that, but for every 2 game ticks, that is 1 redstone tick, and 1 redstone tick is really fast. It's that right there. That was 1 tick, really fast. Okay, moving on. We have these little things on the ground here, and these are pressure plates. Now you'll see we have 2 different types. Now what this first one does is if you stand on it, if any other player stands on it, if that cow over there stands on it, it will activate. And if you only temporarily stand on it, like, well, I messed up, like that, you'll send a 10 tick pulse just like a button. Now we have this one over here, and it does the same thing, so you're just thinking, okay, 2 different materials, aesthetics. Well, that's not the case. you'll see if we come over here, just drop something on that plate, if I can actually get it on the plate, nothing happens. But when we come back to this wooden one, drop something on it, you'll see it lights up. And that can be useful for, say you have a machine, you have to pay at some item. I don't know, I don't really like to do it that way because somebody could just drop a piece of dirt, but there are better ways to do it. And now we have those repeaters I showed you earlier. Now their main use is actually repeating a signal, but what they can also be used to do is add delay. Go away, cow. And hey, see that? See that? He stepped on it and it lit up. Okay, so you'll notice. Alright, watch this one over here. The whole line, it lights up instantly, goes off at the same time. Now this, you'll notice a slight, see you got a little marquee effect, I don't know what to call it. And these are adjustable. By default, they are 1 tick of delay. That's 2, 3, 4. So watch it one more time. See, that was fairly fast. 5 ticks, half a second. But now if we come over here, these are all maxed out in delay, and you can see that took much longer, because 4 times 5, that's 20, that's 2 seconds of delay. Okay, now moving on, we have another cow, and we have this mystical device here called a torch. And you may be looking at this and you say, hey, this line of dust isn't on, but for some reason this torch is on. Well, that's because the torch by nature is an inverter. It's like a NOT gate, which you don't know what that is yet. You're all new to this. So anyways, so it will invert whatever signal is stored in this block. That's another thing I wanted to mention, but we'll get to that later. Let's just keep it all simple for now. Alright, so if I do have power coming into this block, you'll see, hey, now it's off, because it basically outputs the opposite of whatever is here. So those can be extremely useful. Now you'll see over here, you can't tell, but these are 2 different types of pistons. One is a regular piston, this one, and this is a sticky piston. Now regular pistons, they will push blocks, but they cannot pull them back. They just push. These can be useful in piston tapes or other things that I am failing to think of. And so yeah, it will not pull that block back down. And he is getting online a lot. And here we have the sticky piston. You'll see it extends just like the other one, but it will also pull the block down, except in one case. If a sticky piston receives a 1 tick signal, you will see something like this, if I can do it fast enough. Come on. Ah, there we go. It will actually drop the block. This is kind of sort of a bug. It will be fixed in a later update, but for now, have fun with it. This can be very useful. If you hook up a monostable circuit to one of these, you can make a pretty compact T flip-flop. I mean, really compact, like 1 wide. But again, you don't know what that is yet, and you can see it'll still retract it down. Even, you know what, I can do it like this better. See if it receives a 1 tick. Okay, maybe I can't do this better. If it receives 1 tick, it will drop it, but if it's already out there and it receives 1 tick, it'll still grab it. Alright, moving on to whatever we have over here. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the power stored in blocks. Alright, redstone dust, it transmits what we call soft power, and you'll see that here. See, this block, believe it or not, has power stored in it, but it's soft power. I don't know, that's a really weird way to think of it, but it's more basic than what it actually is, so I'm going with that for now. Alright, so this block is powered, so you're thinking it should power other redstone items, but you'll see it doesn't. However, that's because this is soft power. This will not directly output to anything. It will items, say if I grab a piston or something, then that will work like so. Dispenser, it all works the same. But other redstone items, like you saw with the torch over there, can actually pull the power from this block. And as you can see, repeaters can also, frickin' cows, they can also pull power from a soft powered block. Now you'll see over here we got something different. We have a repeater set up here, which is a source of hard power, which, like I said, that's not really what's happening, but that's the easiest way to look at it. What's actually happening is this repeater can push power through this block, and you'll see if I put a piece of dust over here, it'll activate over here. On top of it, it doesn't matter, it's going to push it through. Even if I put something under it, which is extremely useful. But yeah, you see how that works. Now over here we have our torch again, which is also a source of hard power. Say if I have something like this, put a piece of dust on top of it, it will push through that block up to here and activate. And this is a perfect example to show you a feedback loop. Alright, see, this is powering this block, but remember it's a natural inverter, so if I place a piece of redstone dust here, it will eventually burn itself out because it's powering this, and since this is powered, it's powering this block, which turns it off, turns the dust off. This block is unpowered, this comes back on, and it does that repeatedly, and that's too fast for it to handle, and it's getting dark, and I don't have a bed. Oh no. I think you can still see stuff pretty well. I don't want to dig through the menu again. But yeah, it's just way too fast for it, and it can't handle it. Torches are also kind of weird in the Xbox version, and sometimes they do not take to a one-tick pulse very well either. And here's another thing you can do. You can set something up like that. That'll work if you just need to go up one level from a torch. I do that all the time. And that's about it for that. And moving on, well, you'll see we have some glass here. Now, glass, along with some other blocks, are transparent. And what that means in terms of redstone is a signal cannot pass through it. See, you're thinking this block should be powered, but it's transparent, so it can't be powered. You'll see this repeater is not drawing that power, and likewise, this repeater can't push the power through. And you're probably thinking, okay, so transparent items are pretty much useless in redstone, and we will avoid them. And that's incorrect. They can be useful for, once again, piston tapes, because, or any mechanical based memory really, because this can act as a 0 instead of 1, and I'm getting ahead of myself, and you don't know about that stuff yet. But just know, at some point, if you really get into redstone, you will definitely be using transparent blocks. And also, glowstone is a transparent block, and that's another thing that I'm going to talk about later. Why a lot of PC version tutorials do not work for the Xbox is because a lot of them use what's called glowstone logic, and I'll be going over that in a minute. vertical transmission. Ooh, a lot of people like to use torches. I don't like it, but it's there, so I should probably go over it. Alright, you see the top torch is off, but when we switch this power inverts this torch. This block is no longer powered, so this torch is on. This block is now powered, this torch is off, and yada yada, etc. It will repeat that as high as you go. If you wanted to go to the maximum limit, go for it. It will work. But I don't really like doing this stuff because it's slow. Pretty much the only time I recommend it is if you absolutely only have room for a 1 by 1 by n design. You need one block of surface area. Then this is useful, but other than that, it's usually the worst option. This is something I do actually use from time to time, not this many, but if you need several inversions within a small space, this is a way to do it. The same thing is going on here as is here, but it's just more dense, and it inverts, side to side in a 2 by 1 area. So that I actually do use. Over here, okay, now is where I explain glowstone logic a little bit. Alright, so let's pretend these gold blocks are glowstone, and the reason I'm not actually using glowstone is because you can't place dust on top of it yet. If you've been playing the Xbox version for a while, you remember that you could place dust on top of it, and that's because it was previously a solid block, and in the latest update they changed it back to transparent, but you can't place dust on it yet. That is coming probably in the next update, and it will be pretty much amazing. So I'm sure you've seen on YouTube a lot of things that look like this, except instead of butter blocks, it's glowstone. And you'll see that the signal just goes up seemingly in a magical fashion, and I'll explain exactly why that works. Alright, so you'll see it stops right here because a solid block will cut off dust, and that's also useful. It's useful in things like piston logic, which I'll also get around to explaining later. It's a little bit more advanced. Wire cutting, really useful in any sort of complex systems that are really dependent on synchronization and need to be fast, computers, things like that. But I'll talk about that later, probably a long time later in a completely different series. So anyways, you see that this is cutting it off, but watch when I replace this block with glowstone. See that? This block, or tile, is now activated, it's powered. And that's because, since this is a transparent block, the signal can pass under it diagonally, and it doesn't actually look connected, but it is. That's just a weird visual thing there, not a bug, but weird graphics, whatever. So you can see how that would be really useful going all the way up, because you can create really compact, instant vertical transmission. And for now, we do not have that option. It is coming soon, and I wish it was coming faster, but this is just what we have to deal with. But when it does come, you'll be able to make redstone things a lot more compact. But until then, if you want instant vertical transmission, this is the way to go. Just a spiral staircase. It doesn't have to be spiraled, but that's the most compact way to do it, I guess. It's still 2 by 2, which is double the size of something like this, and not so friendly on the busing if you have really compact components working together, but it does work, and this is pretty much what I always use unless I need to use something like that. I've done some really interesting wiring with torches and repeaters everywhere. But yeah, I think that covers about everything for now, all the basics anyways. I'll come up with another video probably next weekend. I'm gonna try to get at least one out every weekend. This is a new channel and I still don't have a clue what I'm doing, and yeah. But yeah, I'll continue these tutorials on redstone theory, real tutorials, not block by block walkthroughs, because the main thing I'm looking for is I want people to actually understand what's going on. I don't want you to just take a bunch of tutorials and not know exactly how it works. So this is more for the people that actually want to learn redstone, and for the people that are looking into making computers and stuff, we are a long ways away from that now, and that's a completely different genre. But I do plan on eventually getting there, and it will be different from any of the other computer tutorials you have seen. I will say that it won't be block by block or anything. I might show some designs of specific things, but probably not. I really want any tutorials I make on an actual machine, I want it to be your own design. I'll explain how it works, what goes into it. From that point, it's up to you. You can design your own mechanisms. You can look up existing designs and piece them together like a puzzle. That's all up to you, but I want you to have your own project. I don't want you to have something that, you just copied from a YouTube video, because oh, that's no fun. It feels more accomplishing when you make something yourself. And I am way off topic here, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you for watching. If your friends or whatever want to learn redstone, throw this video at them. Anyways, yeah. So I will see you next time.